Well, University of South Florida scientists are about to begin an extensive exhumation in a Florida Panhandle graveyard. They discovered 50 unmarked graves at the Dozier School for Boys, a state institution for wayward children shut down in 2011 after allegations of abuse and even suspicious deaths. Several of our viewers reached out to us after we were allowed on Dozier property, and our Carson Chambers met with one of them today. Carson?
Linda, Captain Bill Nelson was just a kid when he was sent away to Dozier, but his story is enough to make even adults cry.
Bill Nelson's been a boat captain most of his life.
I made a good life for myself. I picked myself up and kept on going.
He's also a survivor of Florida's dark past.
It's wrong what they did to us up there.
Tonight, Nelson is speaking out for the first time about the 2.5 years he spent at the Dozier School for Boys. Just a skinny 11-year-old, he was sent away for a crime he was later exonerated of.
I was raped over there as a kid, and there were several boys raped. And if anything we spoke out about, we went to the White House.
It's a story many Dozier boys never lived to tell.
A lot of boys didn't make it. You know, they weren't strong enough to make it.
This week, we were given rare access to the Dozier property in Marianna, Florida.
Sometimes at night you could hear the screams.
We walked inside what's known as the White House, a small building where the temperature drops inside and paint peels off the walls, where Nelson remembers being tortured.
Sometimes you stay there 2 or 3 days in chains, you know, and they beat you. And, you know, some of them made it, some of them didn't.
What do you think happened to them?
Well, they were beaten to death.
Soon the Dozier graveyard, known as Boot Hill, may become a crime scene.
We'll work together with the medical examiner and do skeletal autopsies, basically, which then allow for identification through DNA.
USF scientists are preparing for a massive exhumation. They've discovered nearly 50 unmarked graves in the woods.
We know some of the children buried here were unnamed.
The state shut down the institution for wayward boys in 2011 after allegations of abuse and suspicious deaths. Bunk beds and moldy mattresses still haunt empty buildings, just like the past this captain sailed away from for 30 years.
You know, I didn't want to say anything because it's personal, but with all the boys that died up there, you know, somebody needs to speak up for them.
In Madeira Beach, I'm Carson Chambers, ABC Action News.
And USF scientists are waiting on a court order to begin their job at Boot Hill. It could take up to a year to complete.